Welcome to Bloomberg Television. In a moment you'll be able to watch your interview, but just before that, let me show you who will actually see this interview. 67 million homes throughout the world have access to our UK channel, and although the bulk of our audience is based in the UK, we also broadcast to most European countries, the Middle East and North Africa. Every day we interview fund managers, analysts, chartists, economists, strategists and all the other key players in the financial industry. We make it a point to tell our viewers about all the companies that are making or are about to make the news. That means we speak to the CEOs, chairmen and financial officers, not just from British companies, but from those around the globe. And don't worry if English isn't your first language. We broadcast in French, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese and Japanese. OK, that's TV. But what about this, the Bloomberg terminal? 250,000 people, mostly business and financial professionals, use the service. There are three areas that corporations find the Bloomberg invaluable. Firstly, investor relations departments use the Bloomberg to aggregate and interpret all information relating to their company and industry so that they can monitor the company's performance and accurately communicate this to both management and analysts. Secondly, Bloomberg's money market product lets a treasurer monitor all the money market rates, make value comparisons and evaluate historic trends to select the best investment or borrowing vehicles. And finally, if you're an investor, the Bloomberg terminal can help you find out about the long-term financial health of a company and whether it's likely to provide good value for shareholders. That's enough about us. Here's you.
Today's small cap focus, and we're talking telecom equipment and focusing in on Belgravium Technologies. It's a FTSE AIM listed company with a market capitalisation of today's trading at 16.25 pence, £11 million. And trading today on the markets at levels not seen since the start of 1997, so not so bad for the stock. Boosted in part recently from a pre-tax profit jump of 62%. As I say, shares today at 16.25 pence. To some, Belgravium Technologies may not be known, but the company changed its name in April last year from EADIE Holdings. Joining us today is Chairman John Kembery, who has been with the company since that change in company name, I believe, Mr. Kembery. Is that right? You started when things moved from ED Holdings, whatever that company was, into this new Belgravium Technologies.
Well, not quite. I've been with the company since 97, so I spearheaded the change, if you like. OK,
well, we've got stock levels now not seen since 1997, so obviously things not going too badly for the company. Now, telecom equipment. Tell us more exactly about what it is you do.
Well, Belgravium Technologies is in electronic data capture, real-time electronic data capture, as applied to logistics. So typically you can imagine one of the very large warehouses that are dotted around all over the country. Our systems control the flow of goods through such a warehouse. They provide real-time information which updates the company's computers, and by so doing gives much greater accuracy of picking, much better stock controls and much greater productivity.
Looking through your the blurb you brought in with you today, I mean, some big names here. I know we're talking Walker's Crisps and Coca-Cola, that sort of company, aren't we?
Yes.
But you are a relatively small company.
That's right.
You hoping for bigger things? Obviously, you've got these big contracts already, but I mean, the company is relatively small in terms of market cap.
Well, we've got some big ambitions.
Right.
You said at the beginning that what we did was to break Belgravium out of ED Holdings. ED Holdings was a conglomerate of engineering businesses, right, which we felt wasn't going anywhere. We felt that Belgravium had the big opportunity to go a long way. This is the first year. The separation was in April of last year. This is the first results of following the separation, and I think you'll agree the results are very, very good. And what we've actually done, you've got it in front of you there.
Yes, I was just going to ask you about this actually. There's a little bit of, if we can take a look at what we've got here. This is
the Atlanta. This is our new product. It's based upon Windows CE. It has a much wider capability than some of our existing products because it can work on a wider area.
Okay, it's a bit like the traditional Palm, isn't it? You've got one of these little...
That's right, yeah.
So at the top here, there's a little infrared scan as well, isn't
yeah,
there? So obviously that's for stock control and so forth.
That's right, exactly that, yes. It has a touchscreen capability, it's a colour screen. It's a very powerful, rugged computer.
Right, okay.
And it will, I think, find applications in all sorts of areas. So the way forward is very much the application of that product, plus the fact we're going into Europe in quite a significant way.
I was going to ask you about that expansion. What are you doing? Are you growing organically, or are you going to grow by acquisition?
Well, we think we can continue to grow organically in the UK. We think we can move into Europe. We know we can move into Europe because there's a real demand for our sort of products, which are essentially based on service. We do a very comprehensive job in a warehouse. So in moving into Europe, we shall work with partners. We've signed up some distribution agreements, for example, in Germany, and we're working now on the kind of contracts that we want to develop those markets. Yes, we have been looking for acquisitions, but I have to say I'm a bit disappointed there. Haven't really found anything that's good enough.
Just tell me how you differ from your rivals. I mean, it's difficult to work exactly who your rivals are, but tell us, if you can, a little bit about the marketplace.
Well, I can tell you who our rivals are, but I don't see why I should give them airspace.
Okay.
What our rivals do, for the most part, is to concentrate on one part of the supply chain.
How big is this market? I mean, you've got a turnover here of, what, 4.5 million?
As applied to logistics in the UK, we think it's about 20 million. So It's not a very big market, but it has been growing at between 10 and 15% per annum. We've grown 26% in the past year, so we're growing much faster than the market. Where we think we score over our rivals is that everything we do, front to back in the contract, we do very well. And we provide a completely comprehensive service right down to the maintenance agreement once the installation is made.
Tell us a little bit about the expectations for 2002. If we'd been talking 3 or 4 months ago, things were looking a little bit bleak, but in fact now things perhaps may be picking up for 2002. But does the economic backdrop really make much of a difference to you? I mean, obviously you're providing a product here that it sounds like a lot of these companies need.
Yes. Well, I think it would be difficult to say that anybody would thrive in a total economic disaster. I think what's actually happening to us, however, is much more related to the movement of goods. And that's been growing quite dramatically in the UK and will continue to do so. I'm actually seeing 2002 quite strongly. We wrote a stretching budget some months before the year started. The first quarter is, well, looking very good. And I think we can actually do much better than that. In a way, we're related to the movement of goods around the country, and the way that builds up has been quite good. I'm very optimistic.
Okay, well, let's hope you can do again this year what you did last year. Many thanks indeed for coming in. John Kembery there from Belgravium Technologies.